How much money should the Canucks give Elias Pettersson? Should they give him Sebastian Aho money? Should they give him Auston Matthews money? Should they give him Kyle Bowen money? That's coming up next here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer and part-time credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. Make sure you go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL or enter promo code LockedOnNHL for a free white tech hat. Hey, look at that. I got it right here.
Yo, tilt it sideways for the episode, man. Come
there
on,
we go.
man.
Free white tech hat
with
every order. You won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise you, okay? And before we dive into this episode of Locked On Canucks, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. It's your team every day. Make sure you go subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, Kyle, Auston Matthews, okay? You and I recorded yesterday, and about an hour later, news breaks that Auston Matthews has signed a 4-year deal worth $13.25 million. I find it kind of ironic, kind of funny that it comes out on the same day as Pettersson's comments about not wanting to rush into an extension. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to get into Canucks' NFL players and, of course, get into comment corner, saving the best for last at the end of the show. So I got to introduce my co-host here. Okay, Kyle Bowen. How you doing, brother? How you doing? Should Pettersson make Kyle Bowen money or Auston Matthews money?
Well, first of all, can you please just put your hat sideways again for the rest of the episode? Come on, man. It's the summer, man. There you go, man. Okay, Locked On Canucks. I don't know why it looks good on you, man. I don't know why. I feel as if you'd be homies with that Mark Wahlberg version of Mark Wahlberg way back when. New Kids on the Block, right?
I could have been Turtle on Entourage.
Yo, do you remember that song, bro? I think it was their last song, for real. I think about you in the summertime. Oh, you remember that?
No, I don't.
What? Okay, anyways, Locked On Canucks, Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs. Yeah, it was a bit ironic that that Pettersson and Elliot Friedman, they get together, they make the most viral clip in hockey because Vancouver's Vancouver. For real. Vancouver's always trending. The Canucks are always trending, okay, in the NHL. Doesn't matter. They do that, then Matthews does that, and he signs a 4-year deal worth a lot of money, the most expensive contract in the NHL. If we're just talking about the per year amount that he gets paid, well worth it. I heard something the other day. I think it was last week. I think Drance was on some show. Thomas Drance was on a show, and he said something like, "It's actually impossible to overpay Elias Pettersson."
Never mind, people. Thomas Drance actually said this on the Halford and Bruff show.
He's hard to overpay. He's hard to overpay. He's hard to overpay. Right? Like, he's actually hard to overpay. It's hard to sign him to a deal that doesn't make sense, which is one thing that's always bothered me about, like, the core four discussion regarding Toronto. And it's not, Jason, that I'm a Maple Leafs fan. It's that, like, oh no, you're paying the best playmaker in the league $10.5 million. Like, yeah, who cares? Like, who cares? That's great. You kill to have that guy. You kill to have that guy. 30 teams would love to have that guy. Like, that's, you don't worry about overpaying the best players in the league.
Hey, can you elaborate? Because, again, there's some truth. I know I said it. I know Dran said it. But can you elaborate on what I just said?
Yeah, I mean, there is a max NHL contract. So, I mean, as of, 2021-22, the max salary you could earn was $16.3 million. So, I'm assuming Drance's argument is that you could pay Pettersson $17 million per season, and he'd still probably be, like, in the ballpark of being worth that contract. I mean, that seems a little far-fetched for me. What's that?
He's just worth that much. Like, I think when Drance says that, he kind of sees potential, Pettersson's, full potential, his full potential. And it's that guy, an alien type of guy, a guy who is, unless you're playing McDavid, you're going to have the best guy on your team in that hockey game. That's pretty important if you want to win games, right? Pettersson is that guy. So I know we're going all over the place here, but you and I didn't get together to talk about, what the game plan was. I think we were just, going off the top and talking about these two players. It is clearly Connor McDavid, and then it's the rest. And it's like, maybe we should put Leon Draisaitl in his own tier as well because of how he does in the playoffs. But it's Connor McDavid, and then it's like Leon Draisaitl, Cale Makar, Auston Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk, Elias Pettersson, right?
Yeah, I would probably have Pettersson in that tier. I still think, McKinnon, Makar, and
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
probably
I'm
Draisaitl
missing
are
I'm
a
missing
tier
some.
above. Maybe Matthews. Like, that might be a tier of its own. But yeah, Pettersson is one of the best players in the NHL, hands down. So, I mean, he's not getting Auston Matthews money at the end of the day, but I wonder if maybe this contract gives Pettersson some pause, right? He kind of just said, he even said it didn't. He didn't really know if it was going to be a short-term deal or a long-term deal or what that looks like. And of course, fans of this market, and rightly so, are kind of freaking out, like, oh no, maybe he doesn't want to sign long-term. But Auston Matthews hasn't signed long-term. I think what Matthews has done has been somewhat original in the NHL. We haven't really seen these 4 to 5 year deals for a player of his caliber. Like, everyone's just signing that 8-year deal. So it's an interesting strategy by Matthews, and you can argue he's done the right thing because I think we're still all expecting a significant cap increase, right? In the next few years here. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Pettersson does something similar here. Maybe he only signs like a 3 or 4 year deal again, just because he's expecting that cap increase. And obviously, he's a confident guy. He believes in himself, and he has every right to.
Yeah, and I do want to apologize for not saying McKinnon in that little spiel that I went on, that passionate spiel about, Pedersen and where I think he belongs. And that's, that tier right below Connor McDavid. When it's all said and done, he's going to be there. And I think he proved that last year. I think he, in spurts, proved that prior. You have to be you have to be only a Vancouver Canuck fan to really say that because you could see it. And we watched a lot of incredible players come this way. Okay, for real. We have through years and years and years and years and years. It was pretty evident early on that Pedersen was going to get to this point, and I think he's going to prove it even more this season. Now he's got to bank on himself. He's getting stronger, and again, he figured it out last year. He figured it out. Figured it out how to do that thing, and that's contribute offensively every game. He
Yeah.
he he is in that tier now. I will say this. I think if Pedersen does sign, a deal that has him paid more than McKinnon or has him close to Matthews, I'm okay with it because eventually he's going to be underpaid. I think that's what Drance was talking about. It's hard to overpay for Pedersen because eventually he's that damn good. It's going to get to a point where no, he's actually getting paid like those players in tier 3 or tier 4, just the way things go. Eventually this cap is going up, and we've seen it happen in the past with a lot of players. So I think he is worth that money.
Now, here's something interesting I was thinking about as well. Sebastian Aho signed his contract shade under 10 million. It was $9.75 million cap hit. Matthews is a $13.25 million cap hit. So there's a $3.5 million gap between those players. Is Pettersson closer to Aho or is he closer to Matthews? Because, again, he's, 3.5 million between. So he's that's about 11.5 million.
Yeah, I think he's closer to Matthews. And okay, that's not a slide on. Okay, Aho's incredible, incredible. He's gonna do a lot. Potential Hall of Fame type of player for real. He is, but there's a different level to this, and I think it goes to that point that these guys can actually pick up a ton of points. And I know Aho can too, and I'm pretty sure Aho's been better statistically or just as good as Pedersen outside of that 100-point season. And West Coast bias, some recency bias. But again, Pedersen's that damn good. He's on that level. And I think there's more to him. I think there's more to him. There's more goals for Elias Pettersson. There's more points. I can literally see this guy be a candidate for the Selkie and also pick up 110 points. An alien. There's there's not another player like Elias Pettersson when it's all said and done. And I think that's why he's worth that money.
Yeah.
If Aho was like a 45 goal threat, 110-point threat every year, he would get paid that money. Aho's a tough comparable because I think he plays on an incredible team, and that culture in Carolina is so like, you just want to be here. This is where you want to be. This is just where you want to be. It's fun playing hockey here. The way they play, they're all bought in. It's a good dressing room. Sure, I'll take $1 million less. Rare.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Now that Matthews has signed this contract, you are starting to wonder, like, is Pettersson now a $12 million player, right? I think
Hmm.
when you and I had this conversation earlier in the summer, he's probably getting the Pasternak contract, right? Which is, 11.25, maybe 11.75 accounting for cap. But yeah, I mean, now that Matthews signed this contract, let's say Pettersson has another great season, it's hard to see him not being a $12 million player now.
And Trevor, bro, I know it's not all about the money. And again, if you're not watching this on YouTube, it's hard for me to keep a straight face because when I look over to Trevor, for real, that hat, that's a new swag for you, man. You got to keep rocking that exact swag, the hat to the side, every day for the rest of your life. Okay. Anyways, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Matthews and Pedersen. Okay, maybe they should be team guys, and maybe they should take 1.5 million less. They should pull an Aho off. But Aho plays in Carolina. These two play in Toronto and Vancouver. Of course, the media, the fans, it's intense. It's really intense. It's stressful. They're only human beings, but they also live and play in Vancouver and Toronto, the most expensive places to live. That's not even a joke,
Yeah, that probably plays a factor in all this, right? Especially if
dude.
these guys are gonna stay in these cities long term.
Dude,
That certainly plays a factor, and playing in Canada comes with a cost for sure with NHL guys.
yeah, it's a lot of things. So maybe I don't know if like bro, if it's gotta cost a bit more for us to keep players, yeah, it makes you scratch your head. But I'm gonna go back to what Grant said, yo. It's hard to overpay for guys. I'm gonna paraphrase a bit like Pedersen and Matthews. If you have them, you have one of the best players on your team. And again, unless you're playing McDavid in that game you got tonight, that's an advantage. You got the best guy playing that game on your team.
Yep, that's why the Canucks got to lock him up. Let's go, baby. Elias Pettersson. Yeah, I think you might be signed for 12 plus million a year. But hey, you know what? There was a stat out there that Auston Matthews, now being the highest paid NHL player, is like would be 88th among like NFL players or something like that. So I
Hmm.
mean, these guys not quite big shots yet, like those NFL players.
Whoa,
But
whoa,
hey,
whoa.
here's the
They still big
transition.
shot. Hey, comparison is the thief of joy. Okay, they
Yeah.
doing it.
Kyle, I'm just trying to make a transition here, okay?
Okay.
Because coming up in segment two, we're gonna pair some Vancouver Canucks to NFL players. And who am I gonna compare to Elias Pettersson? You're gonna find out on the other side. But first, I gotta shout out Birddogs, okay? Kyle, you and I are getting older, grumpier, crustier. That's why we gotta slap on the Birddogs to keep us feeling like we're only 29 years old, okay? Again, I'm telling you, like I've been walking around the house with the Birddogs hat on and my Birddogs track pants. It's dangerous out there. It's dangerous. I go outside and my pants, they catch fire. Not literally, but it happens. It happens. It's the neighborhood. Everyone's looking at me when I'm walking out the door in those Birddogs. Okay, so make sure you go to birddogs.com/lockedonnhl or enter promo code lockedonnhl for a free white tech hat with your order. This bad boy right here, you can look as good as Begsy. That's birddogs.com/lockedonnhl or promo code lockedonnhl for a free white tech hat. You won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise ya.
People, before we get back to the show, baby, I gotta tell you that new episodes of Locked On Canucks will be available wherever you stream podcasts and on YouTube at 4:20 p.m. for no reason at all, okay? New episodes every day at 4:20 p.m. Again, wherever you stream podcasts and on YouTube. Let's get back to the show. Okay, we back here on Locked On Canucks. Trevor Beggs, Kyle bowing your Canucks every day. Man, we just out here, man. We just out here hoping for the best, okay? For real. Hope is dope. Remember, hope is dope. Hope is dope. We're gonna sell that t-shirt soon. It matters, man. A lot of optimism here. What
I'll
else
be
we
the
gonna do?
first. I'll be the first one to buy it, but probably wouldn't be good for our business. But I'm buying a shirt, man, for sure.
It's all good, man. It's all love. It's we're gonna put it in all the right places, right? Hope is dope. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, we're overly optimistic. I don't think it's ironic. I know you're a little bit more jaded. but sometimes I can hear you, kind of like again. I asked you that question on the log a couple weekends ago when we ate some vegetables, and you said the Canucks were going to make the playoffs. Okay, I leaked the news. You said that. I didn't say it. You said it. Okay, we were looking at the water. Maybe that had something to do with it. Beautiful moment. But you said the Canucks were going to make the playoffs. Hope is dope. We're optimistic. We're also newly, newly 30-year-olds, and wisdom and optimism and being more hippie. I guess it comes with it. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Anyways, a story before we talk about comparing some of these NFL players to our version of the Vancouver Canucks. I remember when Burrows, he took a discount. His first big contract with the Canucks was a 4-year deal worth $8 million. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like he signed that deal after he put up a 30-goal year. I'm pretty sure he did because I felt the way about it. Because when I met him a couple weeks later, he was doing something at Bell Mobile, like signing autographs, some sort of promotion. I met him that day. I shook his hand, and I think I was 16 years old, maybe. And I said, "Thank you." I said, "Thank you, man. You didn't have to do that." And he said he did it for the fans. He had to do it for the fans. Maybe do it for 3 years, 2 years, but he signed 4 years. He took a discount for 4 years for the
Yeah.
fans.
And fuck, he was so good in those years, eh?
I'll bleep that
So
in.
I was looking at it right now. He signed in March of 2009. At the end of that season, he had 28 goals and 51 points in 82
Mhm.
games. But during the next couple seasons, he had 35 goals the next year, 26 goals the following year, 28 goals the year after that. I mean, the guy was just so good for this franchise on that contract. And I never forget what Alex Burrows did for the city, man. That's why he's got to be one of the most beloved Canucks of all time.
Yeah, for real.
That's so
What a
funny
guy.
that you bring up. This is so funny that you bring up Alex Burrows first because
Oh, you're gonna
in
do it.
terms
You're
of
gonna you're
yeah,
gonna
in
do it.
terms
You're
of
gonna say you're
comparing.
gonna say Patterson reminds you of Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah, how did you know, man? Oh
Because he
my
was my guy.
God.
He was my guy. I was like, yo, Patterson reminds me of Joe Burrow. But yeah, I cut you off a million times there because I got excited. The telepathy, yo, the chemistry, it's working, baby. Bagsy bowing. For real. For real, yo. Our girls, they should be worried. All right? Who's your best friend? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, okay? Explain why you think Patterson reminds you of Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of NFL versus NHL, I think Mahomes and McDavid are like the two best players in each league. So I didn't want to, say Mahomes and Pettersson, but actually with Joe Burrow and Pettersson, I think both of them faced some adversity earlier in their career. People doubted Pettersson because he was too small, Burrows with the injuries. But I think they both stepped up and they're just, two of the best players in the game right now. I think they're two like the most confident, competitive guys in their respective sports. And they got kind of like a gentlemanly figure about them too. You know what I mean? I mean, Pettersson, fairly quiet, humble guy, and then Joe Burrows seems like a friendly guy. Like we've seen the clips of him at the Super Bowl, like shaking all the guys' hand, being like, "Hey, I'm Joe," that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I Pettersson, like Burrows, first guy I thought of when I thought of Pettersson having an NFL comparable.
Wow. That was that was one of the most beautiful moments of our friendship, man, right there. That was nuts, dude. I was stressing about this segment because I'm like, yo, we got to do it. Then I realized that I don't really have a lot of comparables. It's kind of hard to do this. The sports are so different, you know?
Yeah.
Sports are
Well,
so different. And
I
Joe Burrow just came to mind, Pedersen, and being like in that other tier right behind Mahomes. They got that coolness to them, that confidence. Something just tells you that they're gonna become a champion at least once. Those guys win championships, you know? So I like that. Now I'm gonna ask you this because I needed help on this. Who does Quinn Hughes remind you of?
So for Quinn Hughes, I went with Sauce Gardner of the New York Jets. Now Sauce Gardner's a bit younger, like he's an actual rookie, but I think Sauce Gardner last year, again, a little undersized, high draft pick, just like Quinn Hughes. But Sauce Gardner was easily one of the best defensive backs in football last season. I can't think of too many defensive backs in the game that are better than him. And then this guy's just scratching the surface too. So I kind of saw them as both high draft picks have been undersized, but two of the best defenders in their sport.
Okay, touch on that a bit more. And I know we did a little bit of this a couple episodes when we talked about Quinn Hughes a bit more than usual. You bring up scratching the surface. Tell the listeners again, like, where do you see Quinn Hughes's peak going? And we're talking about a guy who gets paid under $8 million. I know we don't have to go into like his next contract. But that number seems to be blank as well based on his trajectory. And again, you're saying he just kind of scratching the surface?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Canucks got to win games to keep the boys together, right? I think that's the key here. But I mean, with Quinn Hughes, I don't see why he can't hit 100 points. I mean, we've kind of talked
Whoa.
about it. Can he work on his shot? I think his shot can get better, but I think he could pile up like 90 assists in a season. I think he's that good of a playmaker. Scoring's going up in the NHL as well. I mean, like
Dude,
I said, if Erik Karlsson can do it, I definitely think Quinn Hughes can be a 100-point NHL player at some point in his career.
bro, man, if the league is watching this, they're saying, well, what are you doing? Like, what are these guys doing? This is why Vancouver never loses. They got delusion like this in their city, okay? One guy's comparing Pettersson and Matthews. They're going to get paid the same. Look at Matthews' goal totals,
Didn't say that.
But, I'm just, what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's the energy we're giving. And now you just said, like, now you're the one that said, Hugh, if Erik Karlsson can do it, one of the best offensive defensemen ever. Like this guy's the dude. If he can do it, Quinn Hughes can do it easily in his sleep. Unreal, man. Okay, cool. I like that, man. I like the energy, man. I like see that's what happens when you put the hat sideways, man. You're telling me that's not a look, man? That's a look, dude.
I wouldn't walk around in my neighborhood with this. Only if I was wearing my Birddogs pants. That's the only time I would do it. But the hat and the pants go together, man. I'm telling you, it's peanut
Okay,
butter and jelly, man.
but why wouldn't you walk around the neighborhood with your hat sideways? It looks cool.
Because I look too well. No, I don't know. I was gonna say I'd look too sexy, but with this Birddogs hat, that's definitely the case, man. Like I could pull it off with the track pants for sure. No
Yeah.
shirt, white hat, track pants. There we go.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Okay, so for Quinn Hughes, I actually used like I didn't go the defensive route, even though that's probably what I should have done. But you know what? Give me the benefit of the doubt because we are talking about Quinn Hughes. Those offensive numbers are just elite. I was thinking of Jalen Hurts.
Hmm.
And you know me, right? We were talking about Quinn Hughes again the other day, talking about the assist, how maybe he needs a stronger shot. He needs to put up more goals if he really wants to be like known as one of those guys. And I said, assists are kind of like goals if you really want to think about it. If you really want to think about it. So I used that logic. And Jalen Hurts put up a ton of touchdowns, scored a lot of points, elusive. And I think he's also just scratching the surface as well. But he's elite. Like he's got that competitive nature in him as well. And I believe Quinn Hughes has that as well. Come on, man. Did you see this guy play ping pong with his brothers? Yo, can these guys just win hockey games? Can they just prove it? We talk a lot about these guys. We talk a lot about Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson. Like they're those guys. Like by the time it's all said and done, these guys are top 100 players of all time. We're gassing these guys up so much. Can they just win? Can they just win? Because that's the glue. It really is. That makes everything valid.
Well, it's August, man, so I'm going to believe that. We're going to be doing Locked On Canucks from the Plaza at Rogers Arena for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final.
Whoa. Damn. I like it, man. Speaking of which, man, I heard that they're making major renovations. They're getting a new sign in there. They're gonna start putting in new seats collectively by the majority next summer. It's gonna look different, man. Hey,
Yeah,
come on, man.
no,
You think they're doing all that and they're not gonna dish out the 8-year deal for Pettersson? For real, 8 years, 13 point. Okay, let's say Pettersson puts up 115 points this season, right? The Canucks make the playoffs. You're not paying this guy whatever he wants.
I mean, I probably, like, if it came down to it, I probably would give him Matthews money if he had just came off 115-point season. But the Canucks also got to make some noise too, right? I mean, well, yeah, like you just got to see how it goes, right?
Who's better, man? Who would you rather have on your team, Matthews or Pettersson? Do it, man. Come on, Matthews or Pettersson, Trevor Begg. Say it, man. West Coast bias. This answer should be easy. You're taking way too long.
Yeah, I am gonna go. I am gonna go Elias Pettersson.
Oh, buddy. Okay,
More,
locked on
more
Canucks.
complete player. More complete player.
There you go. There you go. Am I sounding like I'm an idiot when I say
But
this guy
Matthews is pretty good defensively too. I don't think it's a huge knock against Matthews, but I don't know they're both two of the best players in hockey right now.
There's just something about Pettersson's competitiveness that reminds me of Peter Forsberg, and Forsberg's like a champion, Anyways, locked on Canucks, your team every day. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen. One day, we're gonna do this show from Sweden, dude. From Sweden.
That's the dream, baby. Let's go.
Unbelievable, man. Anyways, we'll get to the other side. Comment corner coming up in a couple of minutes. your Canucks every day. Remember, we are all Canucks or Locked On Canucks, and subscribe and hit the like button and leave us a review wherever you stream this podcast. Give us a couple seconds and we'll be right back again on Locked On Canucks. Okay, people, I lied to you. The other day I told you that we'd be giving you an episode on Friday, and here we are giving you an episode on Thursday, okay? The Auston Matthews thing changed things up just a bit. It is what it is. And what it is again, an episode today, which means no episode tomorrow, which also means enjoy the weekend, take care, one love, and let's get back to the show. Okay. We're back on Locked On Canucks, your team. Every day. Begsy, man. You just... These are the days I live for, okay? When the optimism is this high, we're aggressive. We're using words that, again, could be backed up with a whole bunch of delusion, but we're doing it only because we, in our hearts, truly do have that West Coast bias. And I did ask you a question yesterday, and we were in a rush yesterday, okay? We were in a rush. And I want to break it down into terms and make it simpler and see if you'd give the answer that I think you'd give. Let's say you had a job offer. Who knows what these jobs are, but let's say you had an occupation, and keep in mind you're a family man. You're in the same scenario, and you got offered the same job, the same type of hours somewhere else, and they were paying you maybe like, I don't know, 20 grand more, whatever the number is. Are you still sticking around in Vancouver?
I mean, I probably am.
Yeah.
But that's just me, man. I can see the rationale otherwise, though, you know?
Dude, man. For real, man. It's just one of those places, man. It's one of those places, man. This city deserves a championship because it looks like a championship, all right? Anyways, Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Let's get to our favorite segment of the show, Comment Corner.
Welcome to Comment Corner, powered by Paraphrasing.
This comment comes from our friend Jose.
Kyle, what are you doing drinking a Stanley Park Hazy Pale Ale at 10 a.m.? The kids are watching. Think about the damn kids. The future is in their hands, idiot. Ha 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 ha, I'm just joking, been listening to you guys for a while, I enjoy the show, you guys got a great friendship, cherish that. Forever, and remember, be friends, not just colleagues.
All right, Trevor, and shout out to Jose. Jose is a special fan because he's going to be the first fan featured as a voice of Locked On Canucks next week, okay? That dude's a brave man. He's coming to the show, the jungle. All right? Anyways, when he left the first half of the comment that he, later touched on and stated that he was joking, I'm not going to lie. For half a second, and only half a second, it hit me. I was like, damn, for the kids. And then I realized that, dude, I'm not a role model. I'm not trying to be perfect. If I was trying to be perfect doing this, you know how boring this would be? There's no way. It is what it is. Sometimes I sip a beer at 10:30 a.m. You know why that's okay? It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not doing it every day, every month, every year. But sometimes when I'm stressing out up at the Vancouver Canucks and I got a hockey podcast with my homie Trevor Beggs, it just feels right. That's what life's all about. Straight up. Again, not trying to be perfect. That would be boring. And I'm also a big fan of this book right here, okay? I may be wrong, but I doubt it, by Charles Barkley, okay? And I don't know if you remember, I'm not trying to keep us, I'm not trying to compare us to athletes, okay? Again, comparison is a thief of joy. We're just those guys. But he's infamous or famous for having that Nike advertisement where he was blatantly telling the people that athletes are not role models. And I think it's pretty easy to say that podcasters are not role models too. Like the whole role model debate to me, when it comes to fans and entertainment, it's an interesting one. But I think there are too many devices out there and in everyone's hand. Like it's no longer like, oh, all the children, all the family members are around one TV. Like everyone's got a TV in their hands, that we can't just loosely assume that everyone doing this or is in front of a screen as a role model, because that is dangerous, dude. That is dangerous. Don't give that power away so easily, and just maybe hold on to it at home. Like the parents are the biggest role models, the only role models in your children's lives.
You know, Kyle, I think our role in general, it's we don't have to be role models, but I think if you just be a good person, you're gonna be a good role model. Like if you crack a beer at 10:30 in the morning, does that mean you're a bad person? Of course not, man. No, you're in tip top shape. You know, you take care of yourself and the people around you, so you're a good person. So that doesn't matter, man. So you don't got to feel guilty about that. And it's actually not the first beer that's
I
been
didn't.
cracked on Locked On Canucks.
I
That's
didn't
for
feel
damn sure.
guilty. I felt guilt maybe for like 0.5 seconds. I was like, good, good, good. But not, come on, man. Come on, bro. You know how good? Okay, bro, first of all, you made an amazing selection. Whatever I drank yesterday at 10:30 in the morning, you bought it or we bought it. I don't even know when we got it, but it was like 10 days ago and you picked it out. And I'm not gonna front, bro. That was like some really good stuff. Like if I'm buying beer again, it's definitely that again, just to see if the truth is the truth. I gotta test it out twice, but again, it was like 9 out of 10.
Hey, a major shout out to Stanley Park Hazy Pale Ale, maybe their future sponsor here on Locked On
Oh,
Canucks.
buddy, this guy just shooting his shot, man. What is this, Tinder? What if Tinder was a sponsor on Locked? Anyways, let's get out of here,
Uh,
okay? Locked
I'm,
On
I'm,
Canucks,
I'm,
your
I'm
team
too
every
I'm too
day.
old. I'm too old for Tinder, man. I'm too old for Tinder. But anyways, we do got to get out of here. I get 3 little Easter eggs to end the episode. I did write down a couple more Canucks as NFL players. So I had JT Miller as Josh Allen, Nils Höglander as Kenneth Gainwell, and Brock Besser as Devontae Parker. You can debate
Oh.
amongst yourselves or throw your hands up.
Oh,
But for now, we got to shout out the everydayers, the occasional listeners. This is your first time listening. Welcome to the program. I'm about to head on vacation, but Kyle's got you covered in the next couple episodes. Also got a Locked On Flames Canucks crossover that's dropping. But for now, I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bowen, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.